and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is a place where we talk things all about having your own personal glow up. Yes, hi there. My name is Natasha. I will be your host today, and I'm so very excited and honored to be here with you today. I just got back from taking a quick 15-minute walk. I felt like my mood was down. I kind of was a little bit on the tired side, a little bit on the lazy side. And I had this whole epiphany and remembrance of something I think about and I talk about and I preach about all the time, was just how important moving your body is in your wellness journey. Moving your body is something that not only helps your physical aspect, it boosts your mood. It gives you this clarity. It helps you spiritually. It helps you emotionally. It can be anything. And when I first started my journey, and years of, let's put it this way, not starting the journey, I had made moving my body or exercise into this big, disgusting punishment. I honestly thought exercise meant running miles that I couldn't run. I thought it meant burpees all day long. I thought it meant high intensity weights. I thought it meant just torture. And so, yeah, who wants to go exercise and go torture themselves? I don't know. I, for one, was not one of them. And when I learned that exercise can be just simply moving your body and meeting yourself where you're at, and it is this beautiful, beautiful gift. I have had my entire life change as a result of exercise. Like I said, I just even had my entire mood shift by just getting outside and doing a quick 15-minute, a couple more than a 1-block walk. It wasn't very long. And it was a little frigid outside. And so it was a little colder than I was expecting, but it was still nice to have the sun on me, to not have any music in my ears, to just be alone, looking at the squirrels, looking at the trees, looking at the sun, looking at the passing vehicles, and just seeing life around me and moving my body and getting that circulation flowing. So when I first started, I am so honest with you guys, I struggled walking upstairs. It was like, just getting up my stairs. And I don't have many stairs, and it's not a steep set of stairs. It's like a this, a this, a this. So there was no reason for the struggle bus, but I was so out of shape. Well, I was actually in a shape. It was just a very round shape. My body, my muscles had so atrophied. My lungs weren't even moving at their proper capacity. And, starting to do those little simple things that, were like 1-block walks, right? I set these really small goals and these really small habits that were totally achievable. And once I started doing the 1-block, I would then challenge myself when I was like, hey, I kind of want to do more. This 1-block walk, I just got my shoes on. It took me as long to put my shoes on as it did this 1 block. What happens if I go down to that next light pole, or the next light pole, or the next one? And I kept wanting more. The more I did it, the more I wanted it. And it was this strange, kind of like this phenomenon with Chris. It was like, wait a minute, the more I show up as a better wife, the more I want to be his wife, the more I was showing up as a athlete, an exerciser, a walker, the more I wanted to walk. It didn't make sense, but it made so much sense because I felt better doing these things. I feel better showing up this way with Chris than when I showed up with him with toxicity, unhealthy, and poison. I felt better. I feel better. And because I feel better, I want to do those things more. And there's nothing wrong because they're healthy things I'm doing. And so, starting to do those walks really gave me this power. And then one other thing I started doing, I started to really integrate moving my body in a different definition. It didn't mean torture. It meant nurture. It meant doing things that felt really good inside. So when I would be sitting there watching Survivor with my family, I would start to stretch. And that felt so good. I would sit in some yoga poses. That felt really good. And I wasn't having to carve out this other time. And, that was one of the things I was grappling with was am I not a good mom if I take this time for myself? Well, here I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm watching Survivor with my family, and I'm also exercising. I'm moving my body. I'm nurturing me. And eventually it came to the point where it was like, okay, now I feel stretched and warm up. I kind of want more. And so I would start to do these runs behind the couch. So I had a sofa and then like a sofa table, a bookshelf thing. And then I would run back there as we were watching the show. And I felt like, I was able to meet myself where I was. I was able to find a way to carve in this time that I didn't necessarily always have. And I got the time with the family. And I felt really good. Like it felt so good to move my body. And I felt stronger. And the more I did it, the more I wanted it because it cleared my mind. It gave me confidence. It gave me this sense of purpose. It was this thing that allowed me to say, I set this goal and I'm doing it. I'm achieving it. So like I said, I started with a very small amount of steps. I was doing like 1,000. So when I got to like 2,500, I was like, heck yeah, that's a great goal. And I've gone up to like 30,000 steps some days. And I settled at 20 for a while, 1,000 steps. And I settled at 15. I'm hovering at about 10,000 steps. I've got a lot going on in my life. I have an injury that still wants to flare up every now and then. So I'm taking a very, very, very conservative, slow approach with it. And I'm meeting myself where I'm at right now. I realize now that, doing 20,000 steps was great. And nothing has changed in my body. I was just eating more to sustain that type of energy output. It wasn't like I was in this big deficit. It wasn't even the goal of it all. So now I'm just not as hungry and I'm doing, so it balances out and I now have more time and less stress to be like, oh my gosh, I still have 10,000 steps. I'm sore. I'm tired. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Some days like yesterday, I got 23,000 steps. That was just natural because I was doing a lot of stuff. It wasn't the goal. It wasn't the thing. And I doubled what I typically do now in a day. If I hit 10, that's the goal. That's the sweet spot really to me. Maybe we could go to 12 or 15,000 and maybe sometimes we do, but that's another point. But that took a long time to get there. And only because I wanted to. And it was a personal goal for me. And it was ever flowing. Like I said, there's times that it was 10, there's times that it's 15, these are personal goals of mine, depending upon where I am and what phase of my life and what page in my book I'm writing in for what chapter. I've got a lot going on. I have a lot of projects and there's limited time and resources. And I'm really trying to have days like today and yesterday where I honor where I'm at, where I want to take a walk out in the sun, where I want to lay in bed, where I want to eat early. And I'm not depriving myself of that because I know that is gas. I am fueling my tank. When I start saying, no, you can't, you have to do these things, that I start running on an empty tank. And when I'm running on an empty tank, I don't think well. I don't react well. My patience is out the door. But when I'm full and I'm happy and I'm rested and I'm not pushing myself beyond my means, I am able to show up as that version of me that I'm really freaking proud of. I'm proud of myself to have the courage to say, yeah, you could just lay here and not worry what the judgment of other people is. I know what my process is. I know that, in some ways that in other times in my life, I'd be like, oh, well, that's a whole day of yours lost and wasted. You could have done X, Y, Z and whatever, but I'm doing my things. I filmed, and this is actually one of those days where I know that I have plans tomorrow. And so I may not be able to film. So what I'm doing today is, even though I know I have a stockpile accumulated, I'm filming tomorrow's version today. And I can future me is going to really thank me tomorrow when I can just be present and know that I don't have to worry about that. Because I'm actually really, really excited to go someplace with Chris. I don't know where this someplace is. I'm not sure he knows where this someplace is. But we have a Saturday that's free. And I don't know where the road or the wind will take us. But I'm excited to see where the adventure goes. And I think that we deserve this. And I think that this will be a fun experience for the two of us to just get away. Like last night we were just laying in bed, giggling about something so stupid. And I was just like, wow, this is what I always wanted. I really always wanted a friendship. I really always wanted something like this. And nothing has changed. I mean, so much has changed with him. I can't speak of his journey or his reasons or his whys, but I can speak of mine. The thing that I know that has 100% changed is myself. It's my outlook, how I'm showing up. Just like with my work, fitness and stuff. Every other time I had tried to do a diet, it was like this chore. I didn't want to do it. My whys were not there. Every other time that I wanted to improve on my parenting, or be more this or that, I just didn't have it in me until I really got honest and raw with what is my why, what is my motivation, and having that, because I was looking for it even within this thing with Chris, like what was my why? And what is your why when it comes to moving your body is huge. I mean, for me, the odd thing is, as much as I've been surrounded by death or almost death, my health for some reason wasn't enough. Like, it wasn't enough that I had high blood pressure. It wasn't enough that I had high cholesterol. It wasn't enough that I was pre-diabetic. It wasn't enough that I had fatty liver disease. It just was like one of those things I had. Like, I'm a brunette and I have green eyes. I have fatty liver disease. I have, I have a pseudotumor on my pituitary gland. I have, all these things. And it didn't really matter. Like, it wasn't enough of a why. Like, to get healthy, because there was no guarantee. I could have did everything healthy and not reversed my high blood pressure, not reversed my high cholesterol, not reversed, just like you. This was me. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. I mean, I am so grateful. I didn't even have that on the radar. I just thought I would live for the rest of my life. My mom had high blood pressure. Her mom had high blood pressure. My dad had it. Everybody has it. That's just part of what it is. So that's why I say some of these people were overweight. Some of these people were underweight. Some of these people were perfect weights. I don't think it has anything to do with only one aspect of us. The reason that I believe that my health has transformed from the inside out is because I'm transforming from the inside out. I'm realizing now the power I had placed in everybody else's hands to live my life, to make me happy, to show up the way I wanted, even though I never communicated those things. Even though I had these expectations and all these things that nobody could ever fulfill, because guess what? A lot of that stuff had to come from inside of me. The love from them is a cherry on top. The love for me is what is the air, the fuel to my existence. And moving our body is such a critical component. It is the physical component. I talk about it all the time. My uncle had this whole theory about the hand, and I love it. I'm running with it. I'm really excited about it. I really see how it plays in, and I've been able to adapt it to me and my Philos, and the Glow Up Method Philos here is like, it has to do with your physical. Your physical body is what we live in. It is our home. It is our shelter. We have very little control over a lot of things in our body, right? Like, there could be things going on. I have a very good friend, and had it not been, she got some kind of stomach illness in another country who did a certain amount of tests. She wouldn't have found out. She is one of like 80 people in the entire world that's ever had this weird virus that turned into a tumor and had to remove certain organs and now has to do PET scans. Like, I do believe everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to, but there was no symptoms. There's no anything that would indicate she had this tumor growing within her. So much so that she needed to have an entire organ removed. And so, there's so much that happens within this body that is out of our control. I was born a brunette. I have green eyes. My teeth are shaped like this. Yes, we can go do cosmetic plastic surgery things, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of the things, where my son's heart is placed, where, these things are, we don't have control over those things. We have to live within the means of our bodies, right? We are able to push our bodies, right? The things I do with my body now, I mean, sometimes I'm standing there and I can do jumping jacks for a long time. I will, for whatever reason, and I used to hate and despise and cringe at the fact of doing a jumping jack. And now I do them so confidently. I love jumping jacks. Like, I don't know why. It's a weird thing to enjoy. I'm like, yeah, we're doing jumping jacks in class right now. I know it's weird, but I could do that forever. Like, it is the one challenge I keep trying to challenge my kids, because I was like, I could win the jumping jack challenge. I could do that one. As long as, sometimes, ladies who've had 4 kids, if you know, you know. That, other than that, that's the only thing that sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, okay, let's hold back from the jumping jacks right now. My bladder's a little full here. But other than that, empty bladder, I will take you down on a jumping jack competition. Well, I don't know. I feel like I will. Not anyone, just my kids who are out of shape or whatever. For now, until they got in shape and then they could beat me. But let me just have my one claim to fame. I want to be the jumping jack queen. But so there's things that we can challenge our bodies to do. There's certain things that are out of our control. And so I think that the physical is such an important aspect. Moving our body is life-changing. When I began this, that is actually where I began. It wasn't with the diet and exercise. I started with the movement this time. That was a big thing. Every other time I had started with the diet. So I felt when I had started with dieting and with limiting calories and restrictions and punishments and all the things that I associated with dieting, I didn't have the fuel to exercise. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the desire. And so that created a recipe for disaster and unsustainability. This time I was like, we're turning everything upside and on its head, and we're going to try everything. I had spent a lot of time, doing what I do best, researching, until I finally just did it, right? Took the action. I wish I had it on a calendar and date, but quite frankly, I didn't think it would stick. I didn't think I'd be able to do it. I didn't think I'd want to do it. I thought this will be a temporary thing. So I appreciate all the little things that kept me going in those beginning months when things are the most challenging and your life is changing and the people around you don't necessarily support, understand, or agree with the changes. So you're grappling with a lot of things. You're just holding on for dear life to survive because this is what you're supposed to do. But you want to also give up in some senses because you don't know what the heck you're doing. And so, I went about this journey with this whole shifted, alternate, outlook on it. It took a lot of mental work, right? It took a lot of mental work to understand that I had done all the research and everything I've ever learned about habits, about whys, about, creating consistency and having discipline. It was all those audiobooks, all those YouTubes, all those wisdom sharers, all those gurus, all those mentors that had imprinted on me. And every little step along the way of my personal journey or the journeys around me that solidified all that. So the mental work was there. I had to do the research. I had to do that. And I had to have the mental space to say, yes, you can. You can do this. I know it feels like you can't and you don't want to, but you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And the smaller you start, the more you'll realize that it took you years to get to this size. It's going to take you years to get to a healthy size. So let's just get that out of the way. Like the fact is the fact. You're going to work really hard and you're going to see very little results. If you're waiting to see what you look like or drop a pant size or change a number on the scale, you may be waiting a real long time. And is that the whole reason you're doing it, is to drop a pant size, to drop a few pounds on the scale? It's not going to be enough. You've done it that way before and it failed. So we're doing it different and it's going to feel weird. You're not going to like it, but you can do it. There's that emotional aspect. I was an emotional eater. Like things went awry. I was in an argument with Chris. I didn't know what to do. I was bored. My emotions, I didn't deal with my emotions. I ate my emotions away. And it was like, but I don't drink and I don't smoke and I don't do drugs and I don't gamble and I don't shop that much because we don't have much money. So I just eat and so I was an emotional eater during my periods. Before my period, that chocolate never tasted so dang good, through every pain and thing like that. It was like I deserved it. It's all I had. It was my vice. It was my comfort. It was this beautiful thing that also I looked at like it united families. It was, the best times of my life. Some of them have been shared around a table with my family and my friends, sharing stories, sharing food, breaking bread, sharing drink. Like those are really, really soft and important things in my life that I treasure. And so, food isn't one of those things where you could just walk away from it forever and you have to eat to survive. There is this spiritual side, the side of me that was wanting to come out, wanting to exist since I existed. Yet I shoved her away. I silenced her away. And this bigger being, the universe, source, God, Allah, whatever you want to call it, whatever you call it, there's something bigger out there than just me and my experience. and that I'm connected to all these different things. And my journey can help inspire and has helped inspired so many people to come to the gym, has inspired when on days when they didn't want to. Like I've had so many people be like, I was at home, I was taking a nap on the sofa, my alarm went off, I didn't want to go to the gym, but I thought of you and I came. And I'm like, that's what you do. And it doesn't matter if you literally just stand in the back of the gym and do nothing. The fact that you're here, that's your best for that day. That's all we can ever ask for. And to not beat yourself up about it. As I was walking to my car yesterday, I started to think about, I'm like, I don't understand, because part of the gym experience for me is not just the dancing. This is my favorite part, of course, but it's all the people. And so I asked myself, well, how come when you were injured, you didn't just come and stand? Well, I know me, I don't have the self-control. And number two, I was going through quite a bit at that time. And I think even just standing was intolerable. But it opened my mind to the fact that, hey, even on days where I don't feel like going, I can go and stand. Like, nobody's going to kick me out of class, like if all I can do is stand. And some days pretty much that's all I was doing, like, and towards the tail end, it was like, I can move this part of my arm. The rest of the body isn't moving. But showing up as your best, it's this beautiful awakening to know I love you. I care about you. I'm not going to beat you up because you're not the best in the West. And, there's no martyr award. There's no, you suffered the most award at the end of the day. So being able to persevere and have this whole spiritual experience and establish this resilience on the days you don't want to, because let's be real, it's called exercise. A lot of people don't want to. Yes, I find this source of joy because I have this sense of community. I don't work in an office where I have friends and things. I'm not in with the kids' schools anymore. And with soccer and stuff like that, I have friends and things like that. But that's, again, too, on borrowed time. We're almost done in that era. And, having cultivated these relationships that were independent of my family and independent of any form of Natasha before or after. It was just this who I was and who I was showing up as now. And it was just my own thing. And I loved it. I mean, my daughter has come and my son has come and not danced, but come to the gym. And I don't mind that. But this was my place. This was my place to be me and not just be a mom and serve other people and do other things. And that doesn't mean I don't show up and bring somebody a towel or a gift or, set up a mat or have somebody do it. It doesn't mean like that. It just means that this is my place. And so that sends this whole spiritual thing. And why? Why all these things? Well, we're in this pursuit to live a life and a dream life. Like, really, I want to live my own dream life. Is that too hard to ask? Like, is that too much to ask to have a glow up, live a life I'm proud of, and be literally living my dreams? My dreams, not your dreams. My dreams may be living on a beach. That may be your hell. That may be your nightmare. My dreams may be exploring the world. My dreams may be sitting here on this chair, having the courage to put my face and my stories out for the entire world to be able to access them and either support or use against me, right? It can go either way. And I don't care. Like, I am here for that one person I reach. I am here for this experience because this is where I'm supposed to be in this experience. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right here and right now. And I lean into that and I honor that. And it all starts with the physical. Because if your physical isn't well, you're unwell. I mean, you guys have seen here on days that I'm like, whoa, I'm like excruciating pain, or days that were so much pain I couldn't even sit here in the chair. So taking care of your physical is of utmost important. Your physical health is the ultimate wealth. It is what's going to get you to those next days and stages. And even if you have limited mobility, things like I have, find things to do. I was still stretching. I was still doing what I could within the means of my body at that time. Meet you where you are. Just because I particularly go on a lot of walks, it doesn't mean you can, want to, or need to. And so I say all this to say, please go out there today and figure out what you can do, what things you love to do to move your body. It is so important. find time where you can squeeze it in. If you're watching a show, doing a little work, do a stretch, do a walk, park at the end of the parking lot instead of the beginning. So I say all this to say thank you so much for tuning in. I adore you. I appreciate you. Please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. Thank you. Bye.